Is LEGO Space really back? It's an honest question. There hasn't been a situation like this before, and there's a lot of opinions on how this is all working out. Plenty of people will say that it's not the same, and honestly, I'd agree with them, but not in the way that you'd think. This is definitely the most different approach to the idea we've seen yet, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. With a lot of initiatives and perspectives at hand at the LEGO Group, the modern return of LEGO Space's execution would be like no other regardless. The most glaring thing being that it's a trans LEGO themed sub-theme. What I mean is that it has its own branding, but it's not tied to any specific LEGO theme. Though certainly some are pulling more weight than others, still all working together in this LEGO Space ecosystem. In a way, it's sort of its own LEGO theme of combined sub-themes of themes. A super sub-theme. Throughout 2024, LEGO sets that fall under the LEGO Space theming have this silver banner at the side. It's very simple but very effective as part of this grand initiative. LEGO's intentions have been, and I quote, "to inspire the builders of tomorrow." When it comes to sciences, LEGO has always been very forthright by making sure its contemporary themes incorporate the sciences the world is exploring today. LEGO City and LEGO Friends have always been good about this with their animal rescue and exploration themes, often going as far as to partner with National Geographic to add to LEGO's legitimacy in developing toys to inspire the future generations. For space exploration, this mostly focused on NASA's projects, with directly inspired space shuttles and research centers releasing every so often to keep up with the advancements in that field. However, with how space programs have evolved recently, LEGO decided to take a new approach, and began basing designs used in LEGO City particularly off NASA's concepts for future space exploration. The idea being that, if these builders could be future scientists, they might as well be playing with toys that are close to what they will actually be working with in time. Directing our focus with LEGO City, their space sub-theme introduced in 2022 embraced a NASA conceptual design language. Actual concepts developed by NASA that feel believable, keeping the evolution of today's technology in mind. In a LEGO sense, these sets are more of an extension of the spaceport sub-theme, a contemporary sub-theme focusing on rocket launches for something as familiar as landing on the moon, than being true LEGO Space, which leaned entirely into the fictional side of things. It was clear that what was being developed still had its feet grounded in reality. Well, at least somewhat anyways. There was a line to be crossed, and it deliberately was tauntingly reaching a toe over it, but not much further. There's a moon base, you see. We haven't quite got to that point just yet. For LEGO City, that line was crossed completely in 2024. Full transparency, even though this sub-theme is entirely fiction, the perspective is more of an idealized future where space travel has allowed humanity to explore Mars, complete with fulfilling the exciting prospect of finding life on the Red Planet. Adopting a more NASA-punk art style, loosely based on what planned space programs may have for the future, with a mighty dose of LEGO set designers' whimsical approach to these concepts, these sets are the closest LEGO has come to making a LEGO space action theme like what so many fans have been clamoring for in over 10 years. Complete with the adventurous and experimental attitude that spanned the late 90s into the early 2000s, this is a LEGO Space Super sub-theme that lacks any explicit conflict. It even offers staple features like modularity, the ability to share interchangeable sections, using what is being referred to as an airlock piece. This while also going for the staple colorful suits for the characters, though doing better to clearly convey that those colors specify which department of the operation they're a part of than any older theme had before. All capped off with an implied story. Most people tend to feel negative about this iteration of LEGO Space for lacking in the story department, but a majority of LEGO's action themes, not just the space ones, have implied narratives much like this one, though only some of them have characters with no names. One really can't fault it for that. In an interesting development, LEGO Friends' portion of this LEGO Space Super sub-theme just so happens to continue a storyline in its simple yet fun narrative. Back in 2022, a Space Academy set was introduced right before the theme saw a reboot warranting a time jump. Those trainees are the professional astronauts in these sets, in an inspirational effort to show their journey continuing to precisely where they were striving for in their younger days. What's pretty crazy is that these sets follow a similar design language as the LEGO City Space sets, with the exception of shaping, going for soft edges instead, but not to its detriment. This was also the first time LEGO Friends ever left the contemporary lifestyle of the world completely. Something LEGO Technic also managed as well, at least for the first time in many years. This theme is all about the intricacies of functional elements and capturing the looks of iconic vehicles. Most of everything in the theme is licensed, and those that end up not are very clearly inspired by something that is. Not the case for its portion of options within the LEGO Space range. Nearly every set here is grounded in the practicality of reality, built, again, within this idealized concept of future space travel. Again, in a very welcome form of consistency, the color choices are consistent with the other theme sets. What is so excellent about this is the very obvious effort to ensure that older builders are excited to be a part of this LEGO Space ecosystem, with something to challenge the mind and introduce the intricacies of functionality. This no further exemplified than with the odd one out in this line of Technic sets, the orrery. For those who don't understand what this is, it's a model that serves as a clock, depicting where the sun, the earth, and its moon are located within orbit of each other throughout the year. It has always been a want from fans for LEGO to do a set like this, and one that's so focused on making sure that it works with the added bonus of being able to see how. It's one of several other sets that are outside of the design philosophy that LEGO City, LEGO Friends, and the rest of LEGO Technic follow. This super sub-theme of themes is also supported by LEGO Creator, LEGO Duplo, LEGO Classic, LEGO Dreams, a dedicated LEGO minifigure series, LEGO Art, and, arguably, LEGO Icons, with the possibility of others showing up as the year goes on. What's so great about this is LEGO's understanding that the appeal of space in general can come from fiction or non-fiction, so regardless of where a set falls, it still goes under this branding. This with some level of being grounded in reality and some believability, which is why LEGO Star Wars isn't along for the ride. In one way, it's to inspire people to spread their wings and try LEGO's other themes, with the encouragement of them all being under the same context. You'll hear from older builders online that this isn't like any space theme they remember, and they're right. These sets are not their own standalone theme, and there's a reason for that. LEGO's action themes have evolved since their inception, starting with themes that simply encompass the fiction of the concepts they are based off of, going into waves depicting groups with specific purpose. Taking the concept from there, LEGO began to individualize these themes separate from the generalized umbrella of their respective concepts, giving them individual theme names but also keeping them around for a much shorter time before moving on to the next thing. Going into the 2010s, we saw these individualized themes go by the wayside in favor of larger themes LEGO tried to deliver as brands, and if they couldn't be delivered that way, or were too generalized, they would see themselves become consolidated into themes like LEGO Creator and LEGO Classic. It's, sadly, a very risk-averse approach, but with how much it certainly costs to develop a new theme from the ground up, it makes perfect business sense. Even more so if you can use another theme's name that is already pre-established, like LEGO City for instance. Why set aside money for something new when you can put that money into expanding something people already know, right? It's also not like LEGO Creator hasn't been delivering on traditional LEGO Castle and LEGO Pirates. Heck, two of their longest lasting sets are based on these concepts exactly. The only thing here is that fans fear a lack of options, especially when it comes to space. While sure, the LEGO Creator Medieval Castle is fantastic, as an example, it's also the only thing we can consider as a castle set release in a mainline theme after this consolidation that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. If you look over at what sorts of things are being made for LEGO Ideas, and what submissions are being finalized for the Bricklink Designer Program, you can see that demand for Castle, Pirates, and even Space are still in wild demand, though both of these platforms are making products that don't quite reach that mass audience due to their size. So if LEGO Creator and LEGO Classic can only muster a single space set every other year or so, but demand for space-themed LEGO sets is at an all-time high, what should LEGO do? Why, having multiple themes make a consistently designed lineup of space sets all at the same time, of course. Following LEGO's current ideology and how they want their themes promoted, the succinct color palette theming, the cross-set functionality, the approach on characters, the implicative story, and concept being rooted in fiction, this LEGO Space Super Sub-theme is modern LEGO Space. It cannot be refuted. This is the LEGO Space theme these hardcore fans have been waiting for, done in a way where everyone can get excited. A LEGO Space theme for the modern day. It's actually akin to what LEGO Star Wars did to start. LEGO Star Wars had traditional LEGO sets, motorized sets, microscale sets, and Technic sets all running in tandem at the start. In a way, despite this being the modern approach, it's still just like old times. What really helps sell this idea is the consistent shared design approach across LEGO City, LEGO Friends, and LEGO Technic. They all use the same colors, they all use the airlock brick, and all of them are minifig scale. Yes, the Friends sets fit your minifigs and the Technic space vehicles are nearly just the right proportions for your minifigs as well. A theme within themes, just as the consolidation of things intended to accomplish. It's also important to note that this is probably the first time since Galaxy Squad where what we can most certainly refer to as an action theme in the traditional sense has been universally accepted and seen almost universal acclaim. Even the people who were not excited about this approach of LEGO Space were buying it and loving it, even if it wasn't what they were expecting. That speaks a lot for the concept of LEGO Space in general, and that's a good thing, because it might even make LEGO reconsider the whole consolidation aspect of things, and may end up giving us a dedicated theme in the future once more. Wait a minute. Most sub-themes eventually cycle out in favor of others over time. This would likely include this LEGO Space theme as well, right? They don't always come back either. I don't know if I like that. I guess we can't worry too much about that right now. In the meantime, I'm glad we have what we have now in the way that it is, and I will continue to enjoy it for as long as I can have it. And I hope you will too. Please, let me know in the comments what sets you enjoy the most out of all of these new LEGO Space sets, just like how I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, give it a like. Consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss any of my newest releases. You'll find more videos on LEGO's in-house themes on the end screen as well. I'm Pen, and I'll see you next time.